everyone, it's me, the Perfectly Booked, and today I'm here to give a review about another book I finished reading recently. And this video is not just about review, there will be some personal thing also I will be talking. This year's 2024 is about to end, so the reading goal of 2024, which was the reading goal of 2024, and there's some personal thing will be there, but don't go away because the book that I'm talking about today, the review on the book which I'm talking about today, is such an amazing book. So you have to, if you're not at least trying to see this video, try to read the book, okay? Because the book is so amazing, so underrated. I just felt like, yes, everybody should know about this book. It was just a fantastic read. 2024 is about to end, and maybe I will be posting this video on the last day of 2024, like 30 or 31. I don't know, I want to post this on Sunday, but it depends according to my situation and all, okay? So for me, 2024 was really like moody. It's like a very mood swing year because I cried a lot, I laughed a lot, and I experienced something different that I didn't experience in 2023. Like, going out, having some fun with the cousins and my family also. Something that I didn't do in 2023. So yes, I achieved and did many things in 2024. And one of the thing I did, like one of the thing I'm so proud of is I read 37, at least 35, 36 kinds of book in 2024. It's a huge achievement even for me because usually I don't read that much till 2023. I would read, but it's like I'm very one thing is I'm very lazy. Yes, I love books, but I'm lazy. And the thing is, I have exam. I am a student, college student, so yes, I won't get a time to read. If I'm going to read, I have to read like so yes, I don't like reading like that. I have to read the whole story because my sister would read just the dialogues and would understand the story, but me, I can't do that. I have to read each and every single page. Yes, my sister, she just take the book and then just like that she would just read the dialogues and some specific scene only, and she would finish that one book in one day, like, and then she would be like, no, I don't like that much. It's an okay story, it's not something that I liked. That's who she is. So but I'm not at all like that. I genuinely would read the full book. I usually DNF a book when I read like at least one or two pages, not one or two pages, maybe at least one or two chapters. And if it didn't make me surprised, or if it didn't make me like so thrilled, then I would DNF that book. That's how I usually DNF the books. Not by judging the book cover or not by judging just one chapter. No, I usually DNF after one or two, three, at least four chapters, and till I would try to finish that book. That is how I usually read the book. This year I read lots of book, even the book was a drag or not, I decided to read it. And most of my books I think are PDF rather than physical books, because one is I'm not in the mood to read, catch and read book. I just don't know. I told you my mood swing was huge. I was going through like a huge mood swing, so I was in the mood to catch a book, physical book, and read. Most of my books were psychology thriller also, but I'm really happy that I read lots of book this year. And also this year I bought hardcovers, like many hardcovers, 4 or 5 hardcovers, because I am a college student and I have a part-time job only. So it's kind of impossible. You have to keep savings to buy this hardcover. It's really expensive, hardcover books are, but I achieved it. Like at least 5 hardcovers I have bought, and it's actually very cheap. That's why I bought this 5 books, or else I won't buy it. And I even sold many books which I didn't like that much, which I DNF'd. And yes, I bought new books this year with that money. I sold it in 2020. My sister is the one who sold it. I have my second sister, and she gave me the money, and I bought new books with that. And yes, here I am now. I am doing a YouTube channel also because I wanted money and I also wanted to buy more books. My home library is in construction. It's in process. I wanted a big shelf and lots of book to display, so I have to work hard and earn money. And this is the only way for me to earn money because I know this is kind of personal, but my parents are extremely strict and they don't allow me to go out and work. My part-time job is something near my home. It's a shop that my sister owned, so that's why my father allowed me to go out and work there. But he won't allow me to go to somewhere far, like somewhere I have to drive and go or catch a bus and go. No, he won't allow me to do that. So this was the only chance for me. YouTube was the only chance for me. So I hope people who are watching this would subscribe and like this channel. Please support me because I am desperately in need of support and everything. Till those who have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. And yes, I'm really grateful to subscribe to my channel. Yes, I read books, more books, and I also bought more physical books. And I have to say, I learned a lot of new things and new words also, new life lessons and new words also on 2024. So yes, that's all for 2024. I think I would keep my personal matter apart and talk about today's book review. So let's get into the review. Okay, so the book I'm talking about today, as you have seen the thumbnail, is this one. Okay, it's this book, The One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowd. So it's written by Rachael Gillig. Tell me I am pronouncing it in right, Rachael or Rachel. Anyway, it's written by the writer's name is here. You can pronounce it. Okay, so there is two books. Only two books are there. There is no third book. Like it ends in the second book itself. So there is no cliffhanger or anything in the second book. Like there is no sign that there will be a third book. Only two books are there. Okay. So before starting, I want to tell you, I heard a lot of good reviews about this book. People agreed to me that this book is really good. When I wrote reviews in Fables and Goodreads, people agreed to me that this book is really good book. It is really good, like a worth read. It's something very memorable, very cozy. I think you can say it's a cozy read, but not that cozy because it's a dark fantasy kind of book. So yes, this book is a dark fantasy gothic kind of one, but I won't say it's exactly fully gothic one. It's actually dark fantasy but not extremely fantasy. I think you would understand when I start telling the summary of this book. This book is not entirely fantasy because there is no fairies or dragons or any fantasy book, and you can say it's a romantasy. There is a romance in both the book, like one scene at least, but the romance is very adult like so yes, I would say it's an adult fantasy because the romance, this book, both of the books is above 18 is romance plus 18, so people who are above 18 or at least 20 years of age is better for those people to read this book. And I don't think it's for young adult teenagers or not even age 18. I'm not pretty sure about that. I just felt this book is really good for people who are 20 and above and people who like dark fantasy books, not romantasy, no, dark fantasy books like vampire and werewolves, monsters, demons. If you like something like that, this two book is a perfect option for you. So the story I heard is of a wife, a woman whose husband imprisoned her in a tower just like Rapunzel's tower, and she only has a window in that room and a mirror, and her husband always visits her. He's a very possessive person. He doesn't want anybody to know about her, so he imprisons her in that tower, and she's done staying there, just like Rapunzel. She's done staying there. She wants to see the world. So suddenly one day she realized that there is a monster who has been in that room, something like that, and she decided to get the help from that monster to get out from that tower. And asking the help from the monster means, you're doing a big illegal crime kind of thing. So yes, That's the story that I heard. No, it's not a story. Actually, that is the story I heard about this book. Like she escaped and then she can't control that monster. It's like, magic is not free. You have to give something in order to get magic. So that is what I heard about this book, and it's not at all like that. There is no husband, wife being imprisoned in a tower, or any of the character being kept inside a tower or imprisoned. No, there is no such thing in this book, okay? That is what I imagined when I read the summary, when I read the book summary in Amazon and many places. That's what I imagined. I just don't know. Maybe it's because of the book cover itself. It's like she's, trying to escape, and there is this smoke coming. It's kind of like a monster getting inside her through the mouth. So it's like the place and the castle, the tower is here. So yes, I think I started to imagine my own story when I see the book. In other words, I started judging the summary by seeing the cover. The story is not at all like I have said. It's a very different story. The summary or story of the first book, One Dark Window, is about a girl named Elspeth Spindle. Elspeth, right? I'm really bad at pronouncing words, okay? I can write English words really well, but it's so hard to pronounce for me. Okay, so the story is about a girl named Elspeth Spindle. She got a fever when she was 9 years of age, a fever which is meant to be executed. Like if anybody in that place is called Blunder. Anybody in Blunder get this fever, it's some kind of your blood would become in color, and you would see, black lines on your hands, like veins turning into black, and the veins would be seen in a black kind of English color. And if you get that fever, that means you has to be executed. It's kind of like you have some kind of power. When you get that fever, it means that you would get a specific magic, like healing, or get being invisible, or any kind of very useful magic. Not that bad magic, dark magic or black magic. Some useful magic. You started to be able to do some kind of wonders when you get that fever. So Elspeth Spindle got that fever when she was 9, and she somehow escaped from being executed, because the king of Blunder, he ordered the physician to find people who has this fever and execute them. But Elspeth Spindle wasn't executed. She somehow escaped from the execution. Before we delve deeper into the story, you have to know one more thing, that is, there is this family, like there are many families in Blunder, in that place, and each family has a family name, okay? Just like father's name or family name, right, family name. So in this book, every family name is kind of like a tree's name. For example, Elspeth Spindle is a spindle tree, and there is Raven Yew, it's yew tree, and then ivies are there, then there is willows, then there is hawthorn also. So there are many tree names which is given as a family name, because I think there is this, they believe in this spirits and woods, something like that. So there is this story itself where the king of Blunder, the old king of Blunder, his name was Shepherd King. He asked the spirit of wood to give magic to his people, and that is how this fever came, okay? Because it said that you have to give something to get magic. That's how it is. So it somehow came to the people of Blunder, because the old Shepherd King asked the spirit of the wood for magic. So his children got the fever first, then it was spreaded, and then yeah, that's how the fever thing started to happen. So it's not some unknown history, something that happened all of a sudden. The spirit of the wood gave them. Finally, Elspeth got it, and actually her father is a soldier, kind of captain of the king also, and her father's duty is to find the people who has fever and drag them to the king and get them executed. Her father is also somebody like that. He belongs to the kingdom. The reason I told you the family name is because I wanted you to remember the family name. It's important, okay? So this Elspeth Spinter doesn't stay with her father. She stays with Hawthorne family, which is actually her mother's sister and her husband and her children. So Hawthorne family is actually her cousin, because her mother and the wife of Hawthorne, Mr. Hawthorne, were actually sisters. Elspeth's mother is already dead, and her mother died because of the fever. Okay, that means this fever can turn into curse also. It's a magic, but it can turn into curse also. It's like degenerating, like this fever, this thing would suck something from us, maybe our energies or maybe our any other powers, or it's like there is some kind of bad side on this fever also. And this fever can be cured, like it can be cured, but it's very difficult thing. I would tell about that later. Okay, so yes, that is also part of the book, this fever getting cured. Okay, so her father is a soldier of the king. They are called destroyer. I would give the word here. And she's not staying with him because I told you he is a soldier who find the people who has fever and report it to the king. Her father itself is the one who gave her to the Hawthorne family, and he even gave the money to keep her there, to raise her. And she has been living with the Hawthorne family for 11 years. So there is another character you want to know about Hawthorne family, that is Ione Hawthorne. And Opal Hawthorne. Opal Hawthorne is actually Elspeth's mother's sister, which is her aunt, and Ione is actually Opal's daughter. Then another person I think you have to remember is Ravenyu. Oh my god, he's really amazing. He's that morally grey character. I think, yeah, that is what I felt about him. Really morally grey. Ravenyu is from Yu family. He's from different family, but you have to remember him also. Then there is Spindle family, which is actually Elspeth Spindle and Eric Spindle. So Eric Spindle is actually Elspeth's father, and she has a stepmother. Her father remarried after her mother's death, and has two sisters, twin sisters also. And there is another person you have to remember, that is Renelm Rovens. He is actually the prince, the son of the king. He was born as a prince, so his name is Renelm Rowan. And he also has a brother, which is Hauth Rowan. Hauth is a very bad person, actually literally like he's a villain of the story. These are the people you have to remember. Renelm Rowan, Elm, you can call him Elm. Then Eric Spindle, Elspeth. Elspeth is also called as Bess. Ione Hawthorne calls Elspeth Bess. Raven Hughes, or Raven, just Raven, okay. Then Opal Hawthorne or Mrs. Hawthorne, and Ione Hawthorne, who is actually a best friend of Elspeth. They both love each other so much. They both has each other's back. So yes, you can see her, Ione Hawthorne, as the second female lead of this book. Okay, usually they would be the second female badass kind of female lead. She is the second female lead. Tyrone Hawthorne, he's not that important, but I just told because he is there in the book in between. Elspeth got the fever when she was 9, and at that time she tried to escape from the physicians who came to her home to check her whether she has the fever or not. She somehow escaped from the house. It's because she has something inside her, that is, she touched a Providence card. There is this Providence card which also you have to remember in this book. Like there is 12 Providence card. Each Providence card has some different magic. One is Prophet, one is Black Horse, one is Skaith, the another one is Eagle, I think it's Eagle. Then it's Maiden card, the Nightmare. Then there is Chalice. Then there is different card. Twin Adler card is there. Then there is Mirror. So yes, there are many cards. I will show you the pictures of the cards if I can. Okay, like which all cards are there in this book. And if you want to know more about the card things, I think you should really read the book. I can't tell the story about these cards. There is a deep story about this card and how it was created in this book. So that's why I said this book is worth the read, because the way she wrote the story, it's really amazing. Then after 11 years, Elspeth finds that there is this kind of nightmare, some kind of monster inside her mind who is, irritating her, but at the same time is helping her also. When she's in danger, this nightmare would help her. But the thing is, the more you use this nightmare inside her, the more she's going to be weak. It's like she will become weaker and weaker, and she won't be able to control her mind, and there are chances that this monster would come out. And it's like switching the mind, like her thoughts and things would be gone deeper into the subconscious or unconscious mind, and the monster who is in the subconscious mind, the monster and the thoughts in the subconscious mind would comes to the conscious mind and controlling her body. It's kind of like switching their minds, things one. But this monster don't exist. He's already dead actually, and that monster is the one who created the cards. Okay, the Shepherd King that I told earlier. He was the one who has the spirit code for magic, and the cards are actually part of the magic that the Shepherd King asked. They were gifted as a card, and this card can be used by tapping 3 times. But if you use this card like more time, like there is this limitation that you can only use this card within this time and period. But if you use it more often, there are chances that it would start degenerating you. This card can be useful also, but can be dangerous also if used too much. The families I told you there are different families. Each families carries each different card. For example, the Rowan families there are like at least 3 copies of one card itself. For example, there is the Scythe. There is at least 3 or 4 copies of this card, and 3 or 4 people owns it. Okay, but only 3 card is there. 1 card is really lost. Nobody know what happened to that. Actually, that 4th card's story is told in the 2nd book. Okay, so the 3 card is active, and people know who owns this 3 card. And this Scythe is owned by the king and his 2 sons. I told you, Elm and Hout. So the king and his 2 sons own this Scythe card, and just like that, each family owns at least 1 or 2 cards. And these cards, there are chances that it can be stolen also. And if it's stolen, there is no way like you can go around and say that, oh, that card belongs to me. No, whoever has it in hand, they are the owner. That's it. So even if you're going to get the card by killing somebody, and if you got the card, that means it's yours. When Elspeth was really young, her uncle Tyrone Hawthorne killed somebody and stole the card, one of the darkest card, that is the Nightmare, and he stole it and took it home and hid it in a safe place. And Elspeth, when she was 9 years old age, she went and took the card out and tapped it 2 times. She's very curious. She's a small girl, right? And this nightmare came into her body. Here, how it enters is, I told you she has fever. Okay, so her power, the magic in her is the magic she got after having this fever is, whenever she touch a Providence card, she would deactivate that card. Like she would entirely consume that card's power. The power would be gone. She would be taking all the power, and she can't use the power. It's not like she's getting some different power and she's going to be more powerful. No, the power would be burned out, kind of something like that. Okay, so she can't touch a Providence card. If you touch the Providence card, that card is useless. The power will be gone. It's like there is no power in that. That's how it happens. But when she touched the Nightmare card, it was different. It just came into her body, and yes, it started living inside her body and her mind also. So the Nightmare is actually male. I told you it's a king. He's called a Shepherd King. So for 11 years, the shepherd stayed inside Elspeth's body. He can't control her body as much as he wanted. No, it's not that possible, because it's her body, and he is not that powerful to control Elspeth's body. He didn't got that permission, kind of like that. So but he can do something, like she keep on muttering things in her mind, like some kind of thing coming and talking with her. It's kind of irritating, right? So yes, he always irritates her, does things that she doesn't want to hear, annoys her, keep on telling nonsense and things like that. So at the beginning you will be really irritated by the nightmare, but later at the second book you will really cry your heart out, like why should he just go away, why should that nightmare go away, why should the nightmare leave, why there should be some other options, and blah blah blah. mm. Yes, you would really cry, because I cried at the end. It's a really good ending, it's the ending is really happy, but there is still that salvation, that unsatisfied feeling, that it shouldn't have ended in that way. There should be more about this book, there should be more stories. I mean, there are more, and now I'm really shuddering, and I can't say I can't really say the whole story is really, that's why I said there is really lots of story. You can't miss any single page, you can't skip any pages, you have to read the whole book, each and every page. You have to read the whole book, just don't skip any pages, just have to read it all. That amazing is this book. I think this, if you started reading, you would start to think there is lots of Disney princess in this one, like Cinderella, Rapunzel, then there is Mulan also. You feel like, oh, those Disney princess stories are there, but it's not at all Disney princess stories retelling or anything like that. This book and story is different. She has a stepmother. Her stepmother is not that annoying. She's just, it's a medium annoying, not extremely huge like Cinderella's mother. It's an okay one. You won't hate her that much, because the way she talks, it's how naturally humans talk. She just hates Elspeth because it's not her daughter, that's the only thing. But she doesn't hate her extreme, like she wanted to kill her. No, she just don't like her, that's it. Elspeth's stepmother tries to stay away from her, tries to make her stay away from Spindle family. Even though she is a Spindle family, she doesn't like having Elspeth around her husband, which is Elspeth's father. She just doesn't like Elspeth, that's it. So one day she finds from her stepmother that the king is hosting a ball party kind of thing. It's a celebration in that place, Blunter. It's called Equinox, okay? And it's not a game or survival kind of one. It's just a feast and dance, it's just a celebration, that's it. She was invited, she got a special invitation, but her stepmother is like, don't need to come, and there is this party has been there every year. This festival and this party is there every year, just like all other festivals. But just because she used to have fever and she escaped, right, she doesn't want people to know. If people know, she's calling for death. So she didn't went to this party for whole 10 years. She just stayed away from that party. This time she decided to go, just wanted to go, that's it. She went there. She accidentally bumped into Raven Yu. Actually, it's not Raven Yu she first met. She met Emery Yu. Emery Yu is a boy who also has a fever, who is also infected, and he can know the future. He is kind of like a prophecy teller who can know what would your future be. Like, he would just hold your hands and he would know what would happen to you in the future. So that is who Emery Yu is. Emery is a really young boy. He is infected with fever and he's becoming more weaker and weaker only. There is no improvement in him. There are chances that he would die any day. That much degenerated he is. After that, meeting Emery Yu, that's when she met Raven Yu. And Raven Yu is also a soldier, a destroyer. He is also a leader of destroyer, and he is the cousin of the king Rowan. I told you, Elm and Hout are his cousin also. King is the one who made him a destroyer, and the king knows he is infected, that Emery and Raven is infected, because Raven Yu is a useful person. He's cold-hearted, he can fight, he's a good swordsman, and he's a really good soldier. He decided to keep him, okay, because if you look at this in a different way, Raven is King's cousin, right? So going out and telling that his cousin has this fever is like a huge disaster would happen, right? So the king decided not to kill him, just keep him. He is useful to him. So he made him a destroyer, a soldier. The captain of the soldier. He's a captain of the soldiers. Raven is so dedicated to king, but secretly he despises the king. Because this king is simply killing innocent people just because they has fever. He's just going around and killing. It's not a curse, okay? It's not going to kill anybody. He just think that it's not right. This people having fever is kind of like a curse, and he don't want more people to have this. It's just his thought. Some people think it in a bad way, right? So yes, that's how the king Raven thinks. He thinks that this fever is not really good. People should be executed. People shouldn't have this fever. It's not good. That's what he thinks. But it's not true. It's not entirely true. I told you this fever can be a curse to our own self, not to any other people. Like not other people getting infected. No. If you get this fever, okay, maybe there are chances you would use it for bad things. The more you use the magic you get from this fever, the more it's going to harm ourselves, and you would eventually die. So yeah, killing before or dying after using the power is just same. There is no difference. Anyway, people who have this fever would die. That is how this thing is. So it's not entirely cursed, but at the same time it's a really good thing also. That's how they see this fever, okay? Elspeth met Raven, and she finds out that she had met Raven before. She met him in the castle. That's when she went to a market and she was roaming all along in a forest. That two highwaymen, I think one is Raven and one is Elm. These two, Raven and Elm, are really friends, okay? They are each other's backbone. They depend on each other. They can't go any adventure without each other. If Raven is going to do any adventure or mission, he needs help. So this prince is also part of a soldier. He's not entirely king or prince. He's seen as a weak prince. He was bullied when Elm was young. His brother itself bullied Elm, and he's not seen as a prince who can rule the kingdom. So how is named as the future king, whereas Elm is a soldier. He just got the title soldier. Elspeth has met him before in a wood, and he almost killed her. No, she almost killed him. Like Elspeth almost killed him because she thought he is a person who is going to kill her, because I told you she has fever. So she thought he came to kill her. He would find about her fevers and would kill her. So she has to escape from this highwayman. She didn't know it was Raven at that time. His face was covered, so she didn't know it's a destroyer or a soldier. She thought it's a highwayman, people who steal from others. That's what she thought about them. But it was Raven and Elm. The reason they came towards her is they wanted to know if there is any providence card in her house, like in her house or either in her uncle's house. And both the house do has a providence card. I told you her uncle has nightmare, and so is her father also. Her father has a different card, but she didn't know her father has a providence card. She knows her uncle has a providence card because she already touched it. But she didn't told him because she's worried that her family would be harmed. So she didn't told them. Instead, she tried to escape, and when she's trying to escape, she decided to ask the help from the nightmare. The nightmare helped her. It's like she became into some kind of monster. I mean, when you look at her appearance, she's a very innocent girl who doesn't know any sword fighting or anything. But when the nightmare decided to help her with his magic, she became very powerful, and she almost killed that destroyer. She doesn't look like a person who is a skilled swordswoman or swordsperson. When she asked the help from the nightmare, yeah, she turned into one of them. Raven remember meeting her also, and Raven remember how suddenly her eyes turned into yellow color, because whenever she asked the help from the nightmare, her eyes would turn into yellow, and yes, some salty smell comes into her nose, and that's how she gets the powers. Some kind of ways are there to get the power. When she met him again, this time it's not just about trying to escape. This time she stays with him. It's not like he kidnapped her. He told her that he would help her cure the fever. I told you Elspeth has magic, right? By touching somebody's providence card, she would consume their that card's power. But there is another magic also. She has a secret, and that is, I told you, she has a nightmare inside her, right? This nightmare can see the card even if it's hidden in a pocket or anywhere, like any place. He can locate the card, because when the nightmare looks at the places, he would see the cards glow. He would see a specific glow coming. Each card has different colors. Kite has red, Chalice has yellow, Maiden is a pink card, then Prophet, I think it's greenish color. I don't know. But each card, Black Horse, is black. Each card has a specific color, and whenever he look at somebody who has a card in their pocket, he can see that color glowing from the pocket. So yes, the nightmare has these powers, and because the nightmare can see the cards, Elspeth also can see. Technically she has two powers. Elspeth find out that Raven is trying to collect all the 12 cards, because there is this book written by the king, the shepherd king, the old book of Aldous. Okay, it's kind of like a history book of how this Providence card were made, how the magic was made, how people got this fever, and so on. So in this book, it says that to lift the curse of this fever, which is actually some kind of weakness. I told you they would have some kind of weakness. To lift that, they has to collect all 12 cards, all the Providence card, and they has to drip some blood. That's how the curse is being raised. So there is this specific blood that should be shed. That is, a person who has a fever should be sacrificed for this card. Like, it has to be executed. That's how the curse can be cured. And the king is also trying to find all the cards. Okay, and Raven, on the other hand, is also trying to find all the card, and is also Elspeth. Like now, she wanted to find that card because she's just tired of having this fever. Literally till the half book, it's about convincing her to be the part of this people who is trying to find the Providence card. Among the group who is trying to find the Providence card, there is Raven, Elm, Raven's sister Jaspire, Raven's sister Jaspire. His mother and father is also part of this organization or gang, you can say that, but not the king. Okay, the king wanted to find all by himself and live the cure just for appreciation and power. He's a very grumpy character. I really hate the king. Okay, he just wanted attentions and power. That's more important for him, and that's why he wanted to lift the cure. But the main reason Raven wanted to lift the curse is because Emery is about to die, and he doesn't wanted to lose his brother. And now another person is also listed whom he doesn't want to be dead, and that is Elspeth. And just Raven slowly started falling in love with Elspeth. Throughout the journey, when they are trying to steal the Providence card, trying to find out the Providence card, through that journey, he started slowly falling in love with Elspeth. He started slowly opening up his heart and started dropping his mask, which he always wear. I mean, the expression and things, he never shows his expression. He's always cold-hearted looking person. He has this rude face, but when he's around Elspeth, he slowly started to open his heart, and he became a softie actually. Like in the middle of when the book is about to end, he started to smile. He started doing things he never did before. He started to smile. He started to make fun of others. Raven is really amazing. I really like Raven. So I think I didn't told a lot about the story because there is a lot of story. I really meant it. That's why it's very difficult for me to say the story. It's very difficult. I just can't say each and every story. I think I at least told you the basic of the story, and I don't think I should spoil. There is a lot of story in this book throughout. Like I told you, each and every pages. It's really amazing. The story is really amazing. It's not a spoiler kind of review. Since I'm not thinking about the English spoiler also, I'm not going to talk a lot about this book. Anyway, the ending is in a huge cliffhanger. You won't see that coming. Like the ending, I really meant it. You can't see the ending coming. You'll be like, no, you can't make the ending like that. It's not fair. But wait a second, because So yes, you won't be that sad. Be like, oh, there is a second book. That means the first, when the first book is amazing, the second book is going to be so amazing. There is a lot of adventure scenes, you know, tensions and almost getting killed kind of scenes in this one. I can't tell the whole story. It's like I'm going to spoil it. So the ending is really good. Okay, the ending is not. It's in a cliffhanger. So if you're going to buy this, just keep this in handy. Like just buy this with this also. Just don't buy the first book only. Just buy the second book also, because I'm pretty sure when you reach the end, you will be so curious to know what is there in the second book, what happens next. You would be really curious. I have experience. I bought the first book only, and then I was so curious. I was like, why did I only buy the first book? I needed the second book, and I bought, and it took me a lot of time to reach it, but I finished this within 3 or 2 days, just like that. This was such a wonderful ride. I have to say, this is like a chef's kiss. It has everything, the food, the desserts, and everything are there. It's amazing book. In the second book, I have to say, in the first book, there is the ending part is somewhat like Raven loses Elspeth. So if I say the ending of that book, it's like I'm giving the spoiler. Still, if you wanted, I would just say I would try hard not to spoil it, but I would just give a simple idea, that is, the monster finally become very powerful. Like, he now got Elspeth's body, he can control her body water in the way he wanted to. He can do anything. He can, if he wanted to cut her hair, he can do that. Elspeth doesn't need to think whether she has to cut or not. If the nightmare thinks that he wanted to cut the hair, he can cut it. It's like, yeah, I told you, the mind is swapped. So the body is the body looks, the face and everything looks like Elspeth, but the mind and the one controlling that body is actually the nightmare. There is no Elspeth, it's nightmare, and whenever he's talking, it's very oily. The voice is very oily and gross, like very rash kind of way, not the usual female voice, because Elspeth's voice is very sweet, very loving, and very cunning also. But the nightmare's voice is totally opposite. He is very rude, and at the same time, he always makes a lot, like make fun of others a lot. He got control of her body, because in that book at the end, she encounters a huge danger. I'm not going to say what. She encounters a huge danger where she is very powerless. She can't do anything. Only the nightmare can help her, and she asks him to help. But this time, if she asks for help, it means he's going to take over her. Like, now he should be gone deeper into her unconscious mind, and she has to stay there. That's how the consequence this time is for asking the power of the nightmare. And she has to leave, right? She has to leave because the providence cards are not found. Not all the cards were found. She has to find a way to get away from this danger, and the only option for her to save herself is asking the help of the nightmare. Okay, so in that one, the ending is about Raven finding that she has turned into the nightmare. Like, the mind is of nightmare, it's not the Elspeth. He knows, you're not Elspeth. That's what he says. The body is of Elspeth, but the way they talk and the way they think is not of Elspeth. So yes, I know it's kind of complicated. Swapping minds and things is not possible, but it's possible in this book. That's it. The second book is something continuation of that, like trying to find the last Providence card. They almost got 11 of the Providence card. There is only one more left. Actually, in the first book, Elspeth at the end kills somebody. I told you she's in danger, so in order to get away from that danger, she has to ask the help of the nightmare. And helping the nightmare is like the nightmare would kill the person rather than fight with them or just injure them. So he killed one person, and one person is unconscious, and this another person who's unconscious is somebody who the king knows. The both of them are the one that the king knows, but the person who's died, that's it. but this person who's unconscious is a very precious person of the king. King would find that Elspeth is the one who tried to kill that person and who killed another person also. So the king is like, yes, she's a criminal, she has to be executed. And the king would also find out about her fever. But this time it's not Elspeth, right? In the mindset and everything is of a nightmare, the Shepherd King. So I told you, he's very cunning and very twisted person. So he gives a deals to the king. Like, he tells to the king that I have to fight the last Providence card, because the nightmare know what the king wants, and it's Providence card. So the last Providence card is named Twin Adler. Twin Alder. It's the last Providence card is called Twin Alder. It's this one. Twin Alder. Nobody knows where this Twin Alder card is actually. Only the nightmare knows where the Twin Alders is, because the nightmare is the one who hide the Twin Alder card, and he only know where the Twin Alder is. So the king is out of option. He can't kill Elspeth. He wanted to kill Elspeth, but the nightmare is inside her. So if he killed Elspeth, that means nightmare would be gone. He would be okay, fine. I would let you find the Providence card, but after finding, I would really kill you. That's it. And he lets Elspeth leave. The king let Elspeth leave. And this book is actually about Raven, the nightmare, which is Elspeth also, Jasper, and there is another character, Petyr. I will write the name here. P-E-T-R. No. P-E-T-Y-R. There is another character in this book also, Petyr. There is 2 or 3 more new characters. Petyr is there in book 1, but he doesn't have a huge role. But in the second book, he has more scenes. Okay, so Raven, Elspeth, Jasper, which is Raven's sister, and Petyr would go on a journey to find the Twin Elders card. And throughout the journey, Elm is not there with them, and Ion is also not there with them, but they has a separate story. Like, there is a part of story where Elm is telling his point of view, then Raven is there, Elspeth is also there. So I'm talking like this. See, Elm has a different story, and then Raven has a different story. See, and Elspeth also has a different story. This three are the narrator of this book. So Elm and Ione Hawthorne, they both are in the castle, and there is some disaster happen in the castle. I can't say that, because if I say that, I'm going to spoil this one. So I don't want to spoil this book. I know usually I tell the spoilers, but not this one. I really want everybody to read this book. This book is really amazing. The story is really amazing. If you're really interested in reading fictions, you have to read this. That's why I'm not giving away the spoiler. I think maybe you can ask somebody else for the spoiler, but I can give the spoiler. This book is really amazing. So they goes on an adventure. Through their journey, they meet dangers and many threatening things, but yes, at the end they will find the Twin Elder. Magic stone comes for free. You have to trade something to get magic, right? That's what I said. So there is a specific thing at the ending. There is a surprise also, a plot twist also, a huge surprise at the ending. You would see something that you won't see coming. I mean, when I read that book, I saw it coming, but I wasn't so sure it would be possible. What I was thinking would be possible, but what I thought came, and oh my god, the ending was really mind-blowing. I cried. I unknowingly cried. I don't know I was crying. I just started to tear up all of a sudden when I was reading the last part of this book. It wasn't a dead skin or anything. I just started crying. Like, I was crying because of happiness, because of their love towards each other. They love each other so much. They support each other so much. They have guilt also for not believing another person also, and at the same time they forgive each other like so quickly. They don't have any hatred or anger toward each other. Even if they did any mistake, they would ask for forgiveness, and that's it. They just forgive each other. So their relationship is really amazing. I really like their relationship. They don't have any grudges. That's why I really love this book. Everybody is like a family. Because when Elspeth in the first book, Elspeth goes to the U family's house, because she is one of the part of the member of the U of that group who's trying to find the Providence card, right? So she has to go to the castle and stay there. And when she's staying there, everybody treated her as their own person, like somebody who belongs there. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like she don't belong in that specific place. When she went to the castle, she used to think that way. When she was in Houghton house also, she used to think that way. When she's in her own family house, she always think in that way. But this time when she was in the U house, she felt different, because Raven treated her like a princess. Really, he really cared about her. And Jasper was also really so nice to her. Elm was also nice to her. He's a prince, but he's kind of that flirtious prince. And yes, everybody was nice to Elspeth. So I was really happy. The people around her didn't betray her. They do betrayed her. One of the person do betray her in this one in the end. But this betrayal is something which can be forgiven. That's what I felt about this book. In the second book, the person who betrayed her, Elspeth, in this book was forgiven, just like that. Because in this book, he cried, like he sobbed and said, "I'm sorry." Forgiven. That's it. I was really happy. People are really forgiving in this book. Very kind-hearted people. They are very, really bad people, but they are really people who would kill others or sold others to get their own desire, but at the same time they are very forgiving. So that's what I love about this two books. So I cried because of that. Usually I cry when a main character or a support character dies, but I started crying the instant they started forgiving with each other. Also there are like reunion, like the family reunion, and that is also the another reason I cried. And yes, there is a death. That's what I said in the beginning. There is death, and somebody whom you started to like. When you are halfway to the book, you will start liking that person, but at the end that person has to go, because magic costs you, right? It won't come for free. You have to give something to get magic. So somebody is going to leave, somebody would die, but the death is not permanent. It's like they almost died. It's something like that. Okay, they were saved, but there were consequences. So one thing I only want to tell you, everything has a consequence or cost. Magic or not, there is a consequence and there is a cost. Magic or bad thing, everything has consequence. Okay, everything comes with a consequence. So yes, this book teach me that what you're going to do, just think it and do it. Just don't take a rash decision. Just don't do it because you think that's right. No, think it really harder and do. That's, I think this book teach me a lot of lessons in this one, like forgiving. There is a lot of lesson I learned from this book. So it's not just a fiction or not just just fun read, but a very perfect book is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crown. Just so perfect. I love this book so much. This is my favorite read of 2024. I absolutely love it, and I'm so happy I finished my 2024 with this book. I'm so happy I finished my 2024 with this book. So if you're thinking about reading this book, don't read it now. Read it in the next year on December. Start reading on December 2025. Don't read because this book is really amazing. It's like the ending is really amazing. I'm going to brag a lot about this book. I'm also going to brag a lot. I'm sorry, Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I told in my previous book review video that I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Okay, I can say that in young adult fictions, not fantasy fictions. Okay, young adult fictions. Okay, maybe I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but fantasy or dark fantasy, I love Rachel Gillig, and I want more of Rachel Gillig's book. More. Rachel Gillig, do please make more of books like this. your brain is really smart and sexy. So she did a great job in creating tensions and romance also, because in both of the book there is only one scene romance. Okay, it's a spicy romance, just one scene only, one part only, just the one or two, 3 or pages. That's it. If the romance is being in this page only here, that's it. But the tension, the romance, how she created that sex scenes and things is amazing. So in this book, it's the romance is between Raven and Elspeth, and in this book, it's Elm and Ion. They are very nice, they are suitable. They are made for each other. They joke each other. They are like, oh no, I don't care about you, and vice versa. I think Elm and Ion are that crazy couples, That's what I felt about this too. Whereas Elspeth and Raven are lovely couples. They are very lovely to each other, caring people who very adventurous and caring kind of couples. I really hope there will be more book, but this book entered with a very happy ending, very great ending. So there is no way there will be a continuation of the same story like the Providence Garden thing. No, because the curse is cured in this book, and people are living happy ever after. It's like and then they lived happily ever after. That's how the ending is. So I don't think there will be the third book of this series itself. Maybe the same character, maybe different story and things. It's possible, but I don't know. I really wanted more of Rachel Gillick's book. I hope she'll write more. Once again, it's a dark fantasy, not entirely dark, because I told you there is this monster, there is this dark Providence card and magic and spirit of wood also there in the second book. There are magic, but it's not extremely huge magic. It's a very casual magic, and I absolutely love this book. I heard people telling this book as really wonderful, and I saw somewhere somebody telling that the most memorable character in this book for them was the Nightmare. I think I can agree. At that time I wasn't agreeable. I was like, what, Nightmare? Because I didn't finish reading the book at that time. I only read the half of the second book, so I didn't know the ending, and I didn't understand why they said Nightmare, because Nightmare was, I was feeling irritated when I was reading the when I almost read the half of the second book. I was feeling irritated by the Nightmare's behavior. He started controlling Elspeth's body. She wanted to talk with Raven. Like Elspeth wanted to talk with Raven, but she can't do that because the Nightmare is not allowing her. So I was starting to get irritated by the Nightmare, but when the end came, I was like, yeah, now I understand why that person told. The Nightmare is the most memorable character. He do suffered a lot. When he was alive and he was a king, he was killed, like murdered, betrayed by somebody who has been his best friend. He trusted that person. He even allowed that person to marry his sister. He married his sister. They both were like comrades. They both were really good friends. And just imagine the pain when a friend betrays you. I mean, the shepherd king was very generous. He even gifted that person a Providence card, gave that person a Providence card, which actually belongs to the shepherd king, till that friend betrayed him. The friend betraying is very sad. The concept, actually you can say this book is kind of a revenge kind of story, because the Nightmare is trying so hard to take revenge on that person who killed him. So that friend didn't just kill him, that friend killed his whole family, his children's and everybody. So yes, it's technically like he's trying to find that friend's family, because that friend survived, right? That friend survived and lived normal life, while the shepherd king and his family died. So yes, the shepherd king is trying to find that family who killed him, and also he wanted to kill that entire family. But just like his friend have spared one of the son of the shepherd king, one son survives. Okay, there are 3 or 4 children, but only one survives. The eldest son survives, and just because he let the eldest son leave, he also let this friends one of the son leave. Like it's kind of a grandson. Okay, the shepherd, the nightmare, allows one of the grandson of this friend to leave. So it's really amazing, the story ending when you find out who the person is. And oh, it's really amazing. I don't want to really say the spoiler, but I can't do it. I will have to contain myself. You have to read it, okay? You please read, because it's amazing. Still having the hangover. I drank lots of coffees also. Till now I'm thinking about this book. I can't think about any other book. I wanted to read another book, but I don't want to like any other book. I really like this book so much. So that's all for today. Sorry about all the dramas. I just did all those drama to make you laugh. So if you feel it cringy, please forgive me. And I'm terribly sorry I didn't give you lots of stories and things about this book. And I have a reason for not giving it, because I told you again and again. I am telling you, this book is worth the read. The story is really amazing. I really meant it. If you didn't read the other 2 books I have done reviews about, The Naturals or Powerless, I'm begging you, please read this book. This book is really worth a read. Such a perfectly made book. Chef's kiss. Just perfect. That's what I want to say. Maybe I think after reading Harry Potter 2 or 3 years ago, I think this is the next best book I read after Harry Potter. Okay, Inheritance Games is also really good, but it's not a fantasy or adult fiction. It's a youth adult fiction. So yes, that is really good. I won't say that's bad and better than this one, but that is really good at its own way. But in fantasy, after Harry Potter, I have read Aquatar, I have read Powerless, I have read many fantasy books. This hits different, like really different. It's so different, just like Harry Potter. And yes, just like Harry Potter, if you have read, you would know he lost lots of loved one. There is also similar schemes like that in this book. So you please read. That's why I didn't give you lots of stories in this book. There is lots of stories. I told you again and again. I'm telling you, there's lots of story, and it's hard for me to give the whole story. It would take me ages to tell the story, the whole story. Like there is each and detailed story of each and everything. The person, the providence card, the place, the king, the kingdom, the people, the fever, how the magic was made, the spirit, everything has a detailed story. Okay, so you read. So that's all for today. I'm really happy I finished this. Somehow I somehow managed to finish this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It was really difficult for me to tell this review. But still I'm really happy because this is my last video. I mean the last video of 2024. So yes, wishing you all a happy holiday, and I hope you would have a great 2025. Wishing you a happy 2025, happy new year and happy 2025. Also read more books in 2025. Okay, take it as a motivation and read more books. Love you. Bye. It's a green tea. The summary or story of the one dark window. The summary or the story of the one dark window. Alps, finally Alps, and it's really hard to explain to somebody. Should I really be doing this? king had sent some physicians to kill the reason I chill. So her father is a destroyer. Till because he's useful, he the because the Raven